Welcome to the Iron Will podcast, where we talk about overcoming adversity and challenges, creating the life we truly want, and how we use iron therapy to improve our mind and body. No matter what life throws at us, we need to develop an iron will to push through whatever stands in the way to becoming the very best version of ourselves. It's never too late, but now is the time for action. Welcome to episode 209 of the Iron Will podcast. There you go. I'm getting smoother, back in the zone.
Hang on there, Mr. Smooth. You mean 215. Onward.
What I want to talk about today, and I had a lot of people watching my posts. I'm doing the almost every day. I'm posting my weigh-in, going back to weight loss. So 2018 December of 2018, I was almost 400 pounds, 397 pounds. Decided it was time to lose weight. Got down to 309, I think, by June, July. And then August came along to close my business. Fell off the, a lot of stress, a lot of shit going on, obviously. Started eating again. Gained 20, 30 pounds back within the first couple of months. And then by the time things settled down and stuff, and I realized it was time to hit it again, it was April 18th. Of 2020, and my weight had gotten back up to 342 pounds. Now, I've been training and back to training for a while, and then I was focusing on the heavier bench again, and, that builds a little more muscle, but it also just makes me eat more. And I just wasn't doing the things I'd done when I lost all the weight. So obviously, I was still down 50, 60 pounds at the time, which is still good. But then I said, you know what, especially when this, April was a month into the COVID shutdown, I decided I need to come up with a couple things to structure my day and to have some goals and to take this, what I thought at the time would be 30 more days of shutdown, as a goal. I said, listen, let's get back on the weight loss program again. Let's get back into the eating properly, the food prep and that kind of thing. And I said, of course, the one thing for me that made a big difference when I did it initially is I was doing the daily accountability on my social media platforms. So on my Facebook and on my Instagrams, I was posting my weigh-ins every day, my meals, pictures of my meals and that kind of thing, and, showing the progress. But when I sat there and I was trying to figure out, what the hell, how did it go sideways? How did I get back to 342 or 347 in April? How did I get there? And I looked at things, I realized it's because I'd stopped the accountability. And the power of that accountability is that key thing for me that makes the whole thing work better for me. And I that's our goal, right? Is we need to figure out, going back to struggle and persevering, is what is it I want to do? What is it I'm struggling to do? And what is my struggle? What's causing me? What's causing me to backtrack? What's causing me to keep losing ground, to slide back, right? What's causing that? So, I knew what foods to eat. I knew what measurements to be. I knew the workouts. After 35 years, I know the workouts. I was working out. We'd set up the gym in the garage, so that was good. But it can't, and even through that, I'm like, weight's not coming down. Well, what's stopping me from putting it all together? And what was stopping me when I looked at it was, for me, that accountability tool is that linchpin, that one thing that ties it all in for me. Is when I got into the groove of doing that, every meal made a difference. And at night when I was hungry or I was tempted, I'm like, no, I got to weigh in tomorrow. I got to post it. Things are going really well. I want to do this, that kind of thing. So I decided April 18th, this is what I'm going back to. And if you look back on my Facebook, you'll see as of April 18th, the post started day 1, day 2, day 3. And from April 18th to May 18th, I lost 20.2 pounds. So back down that May 18th, 22.2 pounds brought me to 321 pounds. I just tied it all back in, but I found the thing that was missing for me. What's the one thing that was letting me slide? Where was my out happening? And it was the social media accountability. So by seeing that and recognizing and just basically having that conversation with myself, say, listen, this is what you have to do to make this happen. Make this happen. And really, it becomes simple after that. It really does. Once you know it is what you have to do and you start doing it, it flows better. But to do that, you have to be honest, and you have to sit there and stop giving yourself excuses. You have to make it real, and you have to decide that you're going to do it, and then just fucking do it. So within a week, drop some weight. Within 2 weeks, more weight. Here I am now. We're into May 25th, 26th. I'm down to 319, flirting with 318. It feels good. People are commenting and asking for diet help again and that kind of stuff, which is awesome. But I feel good. The one thing that's a little bit different this time is I'm eating a little bit more than I did when I first did all that weight loss into 2019. So because of that, I'm holding more muscle mass. My shape is changing. So, I'm just looking more bodybuilder-ish, which is really what I want to do, right? Part of my goal is to compete in my first bodybuilding competition. It's something I've always wanted to do. It's something that I've always, made excuses about and, found all kinds of excuses why I couldn't do it and just never really owned the fact that I've wanted to do this since I was 20 years old. And a lot of it is fear. A lot of it is fear of the hard work it's going to require. A lot of it is fear is getting my ass up on that stage, right? It's easy to be brave about the things that it's easy to be brave about. It's when things that are truly personal and mean a lot. That's the stuff that becomes sensitive. That's the stuff that becomes sacred. That's the stuff that we push deep down that we don't, we keep in the place we don't like to go very often. But really, it's when we go there and we look at that and we try to figure out why it means so much. Why are we so afraid of it? And then embrace that. Accept it as a struggle and start to persevere through it. And bottom line, it's what's really rewarding. I talked about it in the last episode about having real reasons to celebrate success. Not thin, made-up reasons like it's Friday, thank God I made it to Friday, but you really didn't do anything that amazing throughout the week to get to Friday. You just barely showed up. You survived. Especially now, if you're stuck at home doing nothing, you get up, have a meal, watch TV, do nothing. Like that's what a lot of people are stuck doing. Getting to Friday is no real accomplishment. Having a lot to do, a lot to take care of, and on top of that, the side hustle or the projects or the things that are getting done so that you're working hard and you're getting more efficient at everything and you're putting some sweat equity in it and dealing with some stress and you're getting things accomplished, really accomplished throughout the week. Bigger success, and a bigger reason to celebrate, a real reason. But as I said earlier, when you start to hit those, you realize that you don't want to waste too much time celebrating. We want to acknowledge it, but we need to move forward and we need to keep that forward momentum going. I talked about last episode about how hot it was in our last training session in the garage with the lightning storm, but just how great it felt just to be grinding and sweating and struggling and just being beaten and burned. Those are the things I want to remember and I need to focus on when it is 11 o'clock at night and I'm hungry. It's kind of weird. I just looked at the clock. It's 11 o'clock. It's 10:56. Those are the things I want to focus on. I want to drop another 20 pounds. One of the really cool things that I achieved this last week that I posted and I said it was for me one of the coolest milestones that actually meant something to me deep down is I did probably the nicest set of chin-ups I've ever done in my life at 320 pounds. I hit a set of chin-ups, I think I did 6, where every time I pulled myself up over the bar. For the first time I could see what's happening on top of that bar, on the other side of the wall of the rack. I'd never done that before with my own body weight. And I talked about in a post I put on Facebook how I remember as a kid in grade 5 and 6 and early high school, those participation things. I'm 50, so it's 52, so if you're around my age, you'll remember participation was big. And we did all this testing in school, static hold and sprints and vertical jumps and all these things. And chin-ups was one of them. I could never do it. All the smaller guys could pound them out. All the cool guys could do it. I really wanted to fucking do a chin-up, but I was too big, not strong enough. And it bothered me. Always bothered me. And when I started working out, started getting stronger, it felt better, but I still couldn't do chin-ups. But the reality was I didn't work chin-ups. I had the excuse I'm too heavy. If you're a certain size, you're too big, you just don't do chin-ups. It's for little guys. I remember Rocky 3 coming out and watching, Mr. T, Clubber Lang training, and he's doing the chin-ups in his garage. Just holding on to the wires, and he's doing it and stuff. And I remember thinking how fucking impressive it was. How his back looked phenomenal, how hardcore, how fucking manly that looked. And again, deep down, I wanted to do that. I wanted to be able to fucking do that. When I got back into real training, and I, after August, after the shutting down the business, and I joined a gym, a couple of gyms, and I wanted to get back into training, and I fell back in love with it. And I've talked earlier episodes about that. I remember just a couple guys that I follow, Seth Feroce, John Meadows. They talk about chin ups, especially Seth Feroce. Every back workout starts with chins. If you can't do them full, the normal ones use the chin assist thing, but get that movement in a full range. Build your chin capability. Nothing engages the back like chin ups. Nothing shapes the back like chin ups. And I already knew this, but hearing it again was important. Hearing that message at the right time, or at the time I need to hear it, was important. So from that point on, I remember said, you know what, fuck it, enough of this. Now, guys, this is going back in September. We're May now. Training at two gyms, City Gym and Anytime Fitness. They both had the chin assist where you selectorize the pin, and it gives you a little bit of help, so much help, with the weight stack. I starting with 140 pounds of help. But I said every back workout is going to start with chins. So I would do 2 or 3 sets of 2 or 3 reps, and then built it from that to 5 to 6. So eventually every workout was 4 to 6 sets, different grips, 8 reps. And then I said, all right, 120 pounds instead of 140 pounds of help. And I would go through that, and I go through it. And then after a while, I was only using 80 pounds. And then I would do a set, and then I would take it to 60 pounds, and then do a set, the next set, and then I would take it to 40 pounds. So less and less help. And it was tougher and tougher. And every once in a while I'd try, and I could do 1 or 2-ish. They were good, but they weren't great, but it was without any help. Then I would go back and set the stack back to 80 pounds, and I would just do a big, massive rep out set. As many reps as I could. Burn it up. I got better at doing chin-ups. I got stronger at doing chin-ups. Technically, I improved at doing chin-ups. But mentally, I embraced that I'm going to be able to do fucking chin-ups. And then when the COVID hit and all the gyms closed down and we set up the garage, I said, well, I got to keep these chins going. So I have a nice yellow chin-up handle in between my CrossFit rig, power rack, and I hung some bands, and let's do it. But it's funny because after the first one, I noticed that, you know what? I can do 1 or 2. And I said, all right, I want to start doing them. No more help. 4 sets, failure reps. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. Next week, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. And just kept building and kept building and kept building. So from mid-March, probably more early April when we realized the gyms weren't reopening, built the rack. From then, so let's call it beginning of April. Beginning of April, much when I started to get back onto the diet thing. I was just hitting the chins. Every back workout, every Thursday. Chins. Then we do other back work. And I noticed I was getting better at the chins. Full range. And I have videos. If you look at my videos on YouTube, I have them there. Look for the back days. And sure enough, they were getting better, and they were getting better. And last week I was in the 3rd set in. I'd done 3 sets, and they were pretty good overall. And I was doing my second last set, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna try and pull these over, my chin over. And again, I have the video, and I do 6 reps, I believe. And fucking every rep, my chin over the bar. I could see across. And the moment I was into the second rep, you know what I fucking thought of? That Mr. T. Clubber Lang fucking scene in Rocky 3. When did that come out? The 80s? Early 90s? I immediately went to that scene in my head, and I immediately thought of the fact that I've been wanting to be able to do this for 30 fucking years? 25 years? That's probably one of the coolest things I've ever accomplished, achieved, and felt about myself. And when it comes to physical fitness and training and power, I benched I've won a bunch of meets. I sent some records, and I keep getting stronger, and I'm very proud of that. Don't get me wrong. One of my biggest highlights was back in April 2017 when I finally broke 550. Now I'm chasing the 600, and I've done some 5.8, just missed some 585s. I'm going to get there. I know it, and I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of it. But the things that really stand out for me is the first time I did other things. A few years ago, I ran my first 5K Army run. I trained for 9 weeks for it. I'm no gazelle, I'm no Kenyan, but I was determined that I signed up for it, and I said, in 9 weeks, I'm going to be able to run this thing. I don't care how fast it is, how long, but my goal was to run it and not stop and not walk it, run the entire thing. My version of a run, my jog. I downloaded the Coach to 5K program app on the phone. It's a free app, or $4.99 or whatever. Best $5 you'll ever fucking spend, by the way. And I hit that thing 3 days a week, every week for 9 weeks. I would go and run along the river so people wouldn't see me because it was horrible. And I remember the first couple of days, you'd have to walk for a minute, jog for 15 seconds. It was horrific. I was like, how in the fuck am I going to do this? But I said, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it. And I showed up and I showed up and I showed up. And every week it was longer and tougher. And the thing talks to you. All right, you're halfway there. All right, you can play music and tell you when to turn around. All that cool shit, right? That helped a lot. And I think if it's 9 weeks, I think it was week 6, where it was like a long run. And I remember when I first looked at the program, I looked ahead to see what I was going to get to. I'm like, holy fuck, how am I going to do that? And I remember that specific longer run. We'd gone whitewater rafting, and we were going to raft in the morning. So we got there in the afternoon. So the morning I got up and I went for the run, and it was in the country and gravel roads and stuff like that. I remember that. And I remember, like, it's run day. I got to do it. And I remember doing it and doing it and doing it. And I remember, waiting for the halfway point. And all of a sudden I remember looking across this little bridge where I was, and I looked across the water and I could see our camp where we were. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm far. And just then it said, halfway point, turn around. So I came back. And at that point, I'm like, whoa, I've improved. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. 3 or 4 more weeks later, it's September. 5 weeks later, wherever I was, day of the race, Army run. If you've ever done it in Ottawa, it's huge. Thousands of runners. Thousands. Cannon goes off. Let's go. So I go my little jogging pace. It's not walking. It's not sprinting, but it's a run. I'm running. And you go here and they tell you where to go, and, in the crowds and stuff. And I had a little music thing on and just did it. And I just, a couple times it got tough, and I'm like, no, I'll do it. And I remember coming around, crossing that finish line, and realizing I'd never stopped. And I felt so fucking good about myself because it was something so outside the box for me. When I told people I signed up for it, I know people laugh. Certain people laugh. People who know me, like, all right, Kurt's doing some crazy shit for himself. He's going to do it. That's different, but they know me. They know I'll do it. But other people, like, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter about either one of those type of people because it was for me that I was doing it. And I remember crossing that and feeling as proud as shit about myself. The other time that I did something that was crazy like that is I did a Spartan run, 5K. Motherfuckers lied. It was 6.5. It was at Edelweiss. It was up, at a ski hills near our area here in the Quebec side. Up the fucking ski hill, down the ski hill. It was hard. It was the single most hardest thing I'd ever done. Now at this point, I'm able to run 3 to 5K. I kept that up from the other thing. And when I knew I was signing up for this, I threw some running back in a couple times a week. But it was tough, and it was hot, and it was so fucking challenging. It took me almost 3 hours to do. I would walk, I would jog, I would walk, I would trudge. The obstacles, all of them, except for it was one you had to crawl under a tunnel thing, claustrophobic. I wouldn't do it, so I'm like, I'll take the burpees. But I remember even scaling a 10 or 11 foot wall. I remember they were looking at me. I'm a big guy, because I'm probably 360 at the time and stuff. And they're like, we'll help you. And I just backed up, took a run, exploded up, jumped, grabbed the top, pulled myself over. I surprised myself. I surprised them. I'm on the other side. Let's go. Every other obstacle was a joke until we got to the rope climb and the monkey bars. And I'm like, again, I'll just fucking take my burpees like a man. Took my burpees. And I remember it was crazy, man. I remember it was a whole bunch of us from the gym at the time that were there, and everyone else was finished. I was like the second last person then. I beat a couple people, but again, it's not what it was all about and stuff like that. And because it quickly became about survival. And I remember crossing that and the fucking feeling of success I had and accomplishment. And it was so fucking hard. And it comes back to that again. The quality of the success, it really is about the intensity and the sheer amount of struggle and perseverance required to get through it. But I'll never forget that. It's one of the highlights of my strength and conditioning career, if you will. It was huge because it took so much, because it was so uncharacteristic about my training and who I was and who I wanted to be. But deep down, I've always wanted to do shit like that. Deep down in that place where we don't go very often, we pack those emotions, the raw stuff. I've always wanted to fucking do something like that. And it was cool when I hit that chin up thing last week. It was like that. It was there. It brought me to that place again. And that's where it just made me realize it's part of the formula. Struggle, persevere, succeed, and then inspire. Inspire ourselves. We're the most important person to inspire is ourselves. And if we can inspire others, that's great. That's our duty and that's our responsibility. And I'm happy to do it. But for me, it's much more selfish, deep down. It's to live a life that truly inspires me. Inspires me to want to keep going, to want to do better, to want to get there. It's the stuff that makes me realize that, you know what, even though at 52 years old and I've had some great business successes and I've had some fucking shit-eating fucking horrific fucking failures, just coming out of the last one in August, it lets me know that I'm not done yet. And it lets me know that I'm capable of a lot more and I will surpass what I want to do and what I think I can do. I just need to stay on course. I need to embrace the struggles and persevere. I need to spend the time working on myself physically, the workouts, nutritionally, feeding myself better, emotionally and mindset-wise, doing the journaling, sitting down, holding myself accountable, doing the things I need to get done day in and day out to achieve this. Doing all the series of little things well and consistently. Create the little systems that need to be done and follow them. That's the struggle. For me, that's the struggle. And the more I persevere through it, the greater the successes are going to be and the more amazing the inspirations are going to be. I'm known as a bench guy. I love to bench. I will bench 600 someday. And I will do my first bodybuilding show. But I also understand that it's going after those things that's going to make me be able to do those things and so much more. But it's remembering why I'm here, what I love to do. I love to train. I love being in the gym. I love the iron. I love being around people that do the same. I want to create a brand and build my brand that celebrates the iron. I want to build a brand that inspires this love affair with working out and strength in others. That's who I want to be. That's who I want Iron Hoss gear to be. That's what I want to be synonymous for. I want to walk in a room and people go, yeah, that motherfucker. I'm glad he's here. Now I'm excited. He's helped me. He's motivated me. He's doing crazy shit. Look at his age. I really want to be that person. But I want to most of all feel that way and know that about myself. I want to be that person for myself, first and foremost. Because once I do that, and as I fight for that, helping others and inspiring others will just be natural. Will just be part of it. But we have to lead from the front. So my goal going forward, let's drop another 20 pounds. Let's get under 300, but let's hold more muscle mass than I've ever held again before at that level. At 52, during a pandemic crisis, while building and rebuilding a business and being a husband and a father. That's the struggle. That is what has to be persevered through. That's what's going to, the burning and the beating That's what's going to make it all even better on the other side. Guys, that's all I have to say on that for now. Remember the formula: struggle, persevere, succeed, and inspire. Head on over to Iron Hoss Gear. Use the code word IronWill to get 20% off some really cool merch. And I'll talk to you guys later.